As a YouTuber, we're often incentivized to tell you to go out and buy this piece of gear or that piece of gear, but this video is going to be about why it's often better to actually rent your equipment, especially if you're a beginner filmmaker. And I've got some stuff that I've rented here, and I've chosen this stuff very specifically because I think if you're going to go out and say make your first short film, this is everything that you're going to need to go out and pull that off. And you can actually do it for under $300 with this kit. One of the reasons renting gear is so intimidating for a lot of people, or they're just put off by it, is that they'll go to a local rental house and take a look at the prices, and they're insane. And the reason that the prices are so crazy at local rental houses is because they don't intend those prices to be for independent filmmakers, somebody going out and making a short film with some friends. Those prices are for big commercial shoots or TV show shoots. So they don't expect you to pay that if you're just some random guy. In fact, they expect you to haggle those prices down. When I rented gear for, my big short film, Will the Machine, that was the highest budget production I've done. That was like a $25,000 short film. But believe me, I didn't pay the list prices on the website that I rented my gear from. I told them, hey, this is a passion project. Everybody's working on it for a discount. Would you be able to offer me a discount? And then they were able to accommodate me. So if you're not prepared to haggle, it is tough to rent gear from those local rental houses. These boxes that I rented, all this gear did not come from a local rental house. This came from borrowlenses.com. And if you're not familiar with borrowlenses.com, here's why I'm so excited to be partnering with these guys. I've been renting from them since 2009 when I made my first feature film, Bad is Bad. We rented some sound gear, some lenses from them, and helped make that movie happen. And the thing that's great about BorrowLenses is they ship it straight to your door. So anywhere in the 50 states, if you don't have any place where you can go rent gear, you can get it delivered straight to your door and go out and make your films happen. And if you're a beginner filmmaker, I've put my own starter kit together on their website. It's everything that you need to get out there and go make your first film for a very low overhead cost. So in this video, you're going to see everything I put in the kit, why I put it in there, and why it is often so much easier to just rent this gear out like this kit instead of going out and buying it. Let's look at what we got here. Now this is the Amaran 60X. This is a great light because it's LED powered. It's not gonna get too hot. It's gonna give you a lot of power for not a lot of wattage. And it's a bi-color light, which means you can change the color temperature. It can also be battery powered. You can plug in this included battery adapter, and you don't even need to plug it into a wall anymore. Look at that.
Wow.
And it's got this big display screen here. You can just easily control the brightness. And then if you hit the button, you can also change the color temperature if you want to warm it up to 2800 or so. The reason I wanted to make sure to include a light with this is that you really need to have that kind of flexibility to control your lighting. You don't want to be picking locations based off what has the best lighting necessarily. You want to have some flexibility, and the fact that this can be battery powered means that you can now shoot in so many more locations. But this is really going to go a long way to getting you started in terms of your cinematography. Box number 2, what could be inside? Here is the camera. So the camera I'm recommending if you're a beginner is the Panasonic Lumix G9, which is the same camera that I'm using to shoot a lot of this footage with. You're able to get great video quality with this very easily. It's got incredible built-in stabilization. Lenses that you can get with a micro Four Thirds system are very affordable, and they cover a wide range of zoom lengths. This is just a very affordable camera in and of itself, and a great way to get started with your filmmaking journey. I still use a G9. This B-roll is being shot on a Panasonic G9. I've used this G9 for professional, shooting gigs for pretty big clients all the time, and it works great as long as you just need, standard 4K video. But in general, you're getting all the big stuff that you're gonna need to go out and make a great film. And now let's talk about the lens that you get with this kit. I've put the Panasonic Lumix 12 to 35. Basically with micro Four Thirds, you have to double the lens length. So this is the equivalent of a 24 to 70 millimeter zoom. And it is f2.8 throughout. Optical image stabilization built in, which couples with the optical stabilization built into the camera. So you're getting 2 levels of stabilization, which just gives you like buttery smooth B-roll and video. I've shot a lot of projects on this lens. If you look at my last short film, Last Laugh Inc., like 75% of that film was shot on this lens with not the G9, the GH5S, but pretty much the same camera. I've also included a 256 gigabyte memory card, and if you want to have more space, these cameras have 2 SD card slots, so it'll just continue rolling into the next card if you use up all your space in the first card. You're also going to get an extra battery so that you can keep shooting for most of the day. So that's the camera. We got one more box. Okay, here we go. What's in here? Now, as I said, this was going to have everything that you would need to get started with your first film. So we got a light stand for that. Really, all you're going to need to get going is just a simple spreader stand like this. And with the battery power included, it's so easy to just start shooting. But that's not all, folks. I sound like Billy Mays now, but look at this. And I thought about not including this. Then I thought, well, what kind of films do I want people to go out there and make? I want people to go out and make films that are kind of premeditated, where they have something that they're trying to actually accomplish and do and get across to their audience. And to me, that means you need to be thinking about your shots and not just handheld shooting willy-nilly every single little thing. And that means get a tripod. The great thing about this tripod is it's a Sachtler tripod, and they're just like the brand for tripods for film. They have excellent tripod heads. I have a very similar tripod that I've used for everything for the past couple years, and I'm gonna keep that tripod until the day I die. I'll have this tripod for the rest of my life. If you look here, they have different tension settings, so you can have the tilt on 3, on 2, on 1, and each setting is going to make it easier to move or harder to move, and you can get faster or slower movements like that. It also has a counterbalance system, so if you have your whole camera rig up on here, you can tune in the counterbalance so that if you point it down, for example, it's not gonna just fall over or keep going down. It's gonna hold its position exactly, and it's really easy to dial in that balance setting. And the last piece of gear in the kit is audio. If you've seen any of my videos, you know how anal I am about getting good audio. And this was something that I thought a lot about. If I was making my first short film right now, what would I do for audio gear? Ideally, you're gonna have a boom mic, a boom pole, and a boom operator. But a lot of the times, if you're filming your first film, that's a tall order. You're gonna need multiple pieces of gear and a whole person to operate it at all times. So instead, I went for the Rode Wireless Go 2 mic kit. And the reason is, it's just so much easier to throw a couple of these on a couple of actors, get the audio going directly into your camera. You're not gonna have to worry about syncing up audio in post, and you're not gonna have to worry about having an external sound recorder. So it really just simplifies the process a lot. The reason I went with the Rode wireless system instead of something like the DJI mic, which is actually what I'm recording with right now, is that the DJI mic does not include lapel mics. Wire it up your actor's shirt. You don't want to be seeing a transmitter in a narrative project. So this gear is everything that you need to get your first short film made, and it's also very affordable, which is part of the reason that I put this kit together this way. In fact, if you go to borrowlenses.com and use the code SSC20, you get 20% off your first order, which brings this whole kit down to $300 or maybe a little less, which is a bargain. You're getting this stuff for a whole week. And if you were to go out and buy all of this gear, it's still not too bad. You can get this entire kit for maybe about $2,000 if you're buying used on eBay and looking around Craigslist, things like that. But think about it, would you rather spend that $2,000 purchasing all of this gear, or just spend $300 and take that extra $1,700 and put it in front of the camera, get better actors, get better wardrobe, get better production design, get more time to shoot? You could buy yourself extra days of shooting. So that's the strength of renting. All right, so we're gonna take all this gear and we're gonna try to make something kind of cool with it. It might just be a couple shots, but I wanna show off what you can pull off with this kit. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of mimic what we did in the beginning of this video. And you'll notice in the beginning of the video, there really wasn't much light on me. So I'm gonna give myself a strong key light, change the color temperature, something more like daylight. We'll just do 5600K. Tighten it a little here, and we're good to go. And if we're looking at this door, I think we just need something in the foreground. So I'm going to look around, and maybe this rocking chair will do the job. Use my camera case to raise this rocking chair up. There we go. And while this looks completely insane from here, from this tight camera angle, I don't think you're gonna be able to tell. Not bad. All right, so I'm gonna set up some audio for this shot. This is gonna be the Rode Wireless Go kit, which came already charged. And one other rental option that you have is ShareGrid and Kit Split. The benefit of those is you get to rent directly from people, and sometimes you'll be able to find some good deals there. But the downside is if you're renting multiple pieces of gear, say a lens, a tripod, audio gear, you might have to rent from 3 different people, drive around town for a whole day to collect all that gear. The other downside is you're renting from individual people, and they don't always trust new customers to those websites if you don't have a reputation of previous rentals. So if you wanted to rent some high ticket item, they might decline your rental request, which if you're on a tight deadline could really put you in a bind. So that's why I prefer BorrowLenses. you just know you're gonna be able to get it on the day and everything just kind of works out. You don't have to drive around. It comes to your door or to the UPS store, which is what I did for all this stuff. I didn't want it all arriving directly at my door in case I wasn't home, so picked it up from the UPS store, much easier. I've got the lapel mic from the Rode Wireless Go just running up my shirt here. This is just kind of the laziest, easiest way to do it. And then I've got the transmitter, and I'll just throw that in my pocket. I'm framing from chest up anyways, so even if the wire's running down, you're not gonna notice it. And we're gonna have a little bit of movement in the foreground with this rocking chair. This light is giving me a nice little rim, and it's emulating sunlight from back here, so it's making me just pop out of the background a little bit more. So we're gonna do this one more time. This is how the beginning of the video would have looked if we had used this kit. BorrowLenses.com. It's not exactly a Stanley Kubrick picture, but I think you get an idea of the possibilities. And to be honest, I didn't have a whole lot of time for this exercise because I was prepping my new short film that's coming out on this channel this month, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It was a lot of fun, very stressful too, but I recorded a ton of behind the scenes of the whole process, so some really good making of stuff coming with that short. But thanks again to BorrowLenses for sponsoring this video and partnering with me. If you're just trying to dip your toes into the world of filmmaking, you shouldn't have to spend thousands of dollars to do that. Something like this kit, 300 bucks, you get a whole week to play with this stuff. Then you get to make something cool, hopefully, and see how you want to spend your money investing in gear purchases from there. So the link to my kit is in the description, and use the code SSC20 at checkout. That'll save 20% off your first order, knocking the whole thing to a little under 300 bucks for the whole week. If you do rent this kit and make something with it, please tag me on Instagram, YouTube, or wherever. I would love to see it. In the meantime, that's it.